Have you ever woken up from a dream so real about someone, or even someone who has already passed away, that you could swear they were right there by your side? This experience, which millions of people go through, is not a coincidence, and it's not just your imagination. And then the question comes up, was that just my brain, or did I really meet this person? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand why we dream about people who have already passed away, why some spirits manage to communicate while we sleep and others don't, and even more important, how to know what is just a dream and what was truly a spiritual experience. My name is Alex, and this is Between Worlds. Let's not waste time and go straight to the first question. Why do you dream about people who have passed away? According to Spiritism, when the body sleeps, the soul does not sleep completely. While the body rests, the spirit partially detaches from it. Allan Kardec called this the emancipation of the soul. Just a quick heads up for those who may not be familiar with the name. Allan Kardec was a French educator who systematized Spiritism in the 19th century. I already have a full video about him here on the channel, and I'll leave the link in the description. Now, back to the idea itself, the emancipation of the soul. The body needs rest, the spirit does not. So while the physical brain shuts down, consciousness remains active, perceiving, learning, and connecting beyond the limits of the body. That is why, from this perspective, dreams are not always fantasies. Some are memories of real experiences lived by the spirit during sleep. But if the soul moves away from the body, a natural question appears. Where does it go? Kardec asked the spirits directly. The answer was clear. During sleep, the spirit communicates with other spirits, usually those with similar vibrational energy. It visits places, meets people, learns, helps, and is helped. While the body lies in bed, the spirit moves through another level of reality. And this experience is not unique or isolated. According to Spiritism, during sleep, you can meet other incarnated spirits who are also out of the body, and disincarnated spirits and people who have died physically but continue to live in another dimension. And this idea is not exclusive to Spiritism. Christian mystics, Sufi traditions, Buddhist teachings, and modern researchers of out-of-body experiences all describe similar states of consciousness beyond the physical body. This is why not all dreams feel the same. Sometimes you dream of someone who has passed away, and the experience is disturbing. They appear confused, afraid, cold, or distant. The message is not one of peace, but of distress. You wake up uneasy with a clear sense that this spirit is not well. In Spiritism, this is understood as a meaningful sign, a message that the spirit has not yet found peace, that they may be disoriented and in need of help, often through prayers, compassion, and loving thoughts. But this is not always the case. You dream of a loved one who has passed away. They appear calm, clear, present. They say something simple like, "I'm fine, take care of your path." And you wake up with a deep sense of peace. Now that you understand this, another important question arises. Why do some spirits manage to communicate while you sleep and others don't? First, the condition of the spirit who has passed away. Spirits who live life in peace and awareness can communicate more easily. Those who are confused, traumatized, or very attached to material life may struggle to establish contact. Second, the vibrational state of the person who dreams. The greater the moral and spiritual harmony of the individual, the easier the connection with higher spiritual planes. This is not privilege. It is not luck. It is vibrational affinity. This also explains something many people find strange. Sometimes the contact doesn't happen with a close family member. Sometimes it happens with a neighbor, sometimes with a child, because that person may be the one whose vibration allows the communication to happen. As a matter of curiosity, this detail is important. It is very common for the first contacts to happen with children because they naturally have a much higher vibration. They are still in a state of purity, so to speak. Even if children are not consciously aware of it, they have a strong connection with the spiritual world especially because their process of reincarnation is not yet fully complete. To make this more concrete, let me share something personal. When I was a child around 8 or 9 years old, I witnessed my neighbor in his final moments. He was very sick. A few days later, he passed away. Not long after that, I had a dream. I was sitting on a bench in a white, quiet place. He appeared, dressed in white, sat next to me, smiled, called me by my nickname, and said he was fine. Then he asked me to tell his wife the same thing. I woke up with a deep sense of peace. Even today, that memory remains vivid. And now I understand a little better why he appeared to me. Perhaps to calm me, perhaps to send a message, and perhaps because at that moment my vibration allowed that contact, especially because I was a child. Spiritism teaches that each of us is accompanied by protective spirits and guides, and many of their communications happen through dreams, when the mind is quiet and the soul is freer. But this raises an important question. How can you tell the difference between imagination and a real spiritual experience? To understand this, Spiritism describes 3 types of dreams. First, psychological dreams. They are formed by fears, desires, memories, and daily experiences. They reflect what is happening inside you. For example, you spend the day worried about work, money, or a conversation that went wrong. That night, you dream that you're late, lost, being chased, or trying to speak. But no one listens. Nothing spiritual is happening here. Your mind is simply processing emotions, stress, memories, and impressions from the day. These dreams may feel intense, but when you wake up, they usually fade quickly. Second, spiritual dreams. When the dream is the memory of something the spirit truly lived during sleep. These dreams are emotionally coherent, simple, and meaningful. You wake up knowing that something real happened. For example, you dream of a loved one who has passed away. They appear calm, clear, and present. They say a few simple words like, "I'm fine, don't worry." There's no confusion, no chaos, just presence, meaning, and a deep sense of peace that stays with you after waking up. Third, mixed dreams. When spiritual memory and imagination blend together. The core experience is real, but the brain fills in the gaps, creating confusion around it. For example, you dream of someone who has passed away, and that encounter feels real, but suddenly the place changes. Strange scenes appear. Unrelated people enter the dream. Part of the dream feels absolutely true. The rest feels strange, fragmented, or illogical. Now pay close attention to this. Spiritual dreams and mixed dreams can feel very similar. That's why many people confuse them. The difference is simple. In a spiritual dream, the experience is clear and coherent. You wake up knowing what happened. In a mixed dream, something real also happened. But the mind added noise. Scenes change. Details get strange. Only the core of the experience remains true. That's it. That's why some dreams feel strange, but still leave one central moment that feels absolutely real. Spiritism explains this simply. When the spirit returns to the body, the physical brain cannot fully process what was experienced. So it brings back fragments, screenshots, not the full video. Before going further, let me ask you something. If you've ever gone through something like this, you're welcome to share a bit of your experience. You have no idea how much this simple gesture can help someone who might be going through something very similar. Sometimes, reading someone else's experience is exactly what another heart needs. Now let's bring all of this together. So how can you recognize a real spiritual memory? There are 3 signs. First, clarity. True spiritual experiences remain vivid even after waking. Second, coherence. Higher spirits communicate clearly and morally. They do not confuse or disturb. Third, transforming impact. A real encounter leaves peace, reflection, or inner change. But here is an important warning. It is not always the spirit you think it is. Lower vibration spirits may appear disguised, hiding their face, avoiding clarity, or appearing distorted. When a figure in a dream refuses to be seen clearly, that is a sign to be cautious. The experience may be real, but not necessarily with who you believe it was. That's why the signs matter: clarity, coherence, transforming impact. If a dream doesn't align with these, caution is needed. Now imagine this: going to sleep knowing you are not alone, and waking up feeling that presence still there. Everything we talked about in this video comes down to one thing: perception. Dreams may be the first door, but awareness is how you notice the guidance that continues while you're awake. That's why I recommend you watch the video on the card. If dreams are the door, awareness is how you walk through it. The ideas and explanations shared in this video are based on the Spirit's book, written by Allan Kardec. This work is considered the foundation of Spiritist philosophy and presents answers obtained through systematic dialogue with spirits. If you're interested in exploring this book yourself, I'll also leave a link in the description.